Just a lot of stuff going on all year long. Don't forget to hit up MySpace, myspace.com/activism for Chrissy Strasberg, and myspace.com/Nimrod for Larry Nimmer. It's time for the writer's strike. Let's go down there and watch them and hear what they have to say, and it's pretty intense. So, I mean, they're going to talk all about it, and this is just some footage that we wanted to show you. The audio quality is not that good because we did have a boom mic, but there was so much honking, people in support, which is very good, very helpful. But we are going to be doing a documentary about the writer's strike, which will be released sometime next year, so stay tuned for that. Let's do it.
Our charter started in 1936. Local 80 charter started in 1936. California is one of the best states to work in. We got these right-to-work states. I don't know who came up with this idea.
Republicans.
Right to work.
Republicans.
And it wasn't the workers.
No, it wasn't. No, it was
because the government. I mean, the state has them by the balls if they can't strike. That's one of the things. There's three things I hate about Kansas, and one of them is it's a right-to-work state, which is why don't you just stick it up your.
Well, you know, it's primarily about all the new media, cell phone downloads, computer downloads, that sort of thing. The reason it means so much to me is I've been doing this for 23 years now. I'm a writer. The first show I wrote for was Remington Steele. And back then, you got a fee the first time you wrote the script, and then you got a residual payment when it reran. Well, back then, the only place the show could rerun was on broadcast, and then there was a certain fee that was paid. Well, then a few years later, all these cable channels came along. Cable channels don't pay the same as broadcast channels do. So then all the shows I wrote started rerunning on broadcast channels. So even though I was doing the same work I was doing 5 years before, my residuals came down. Then along came DVDs. Now shows stopped rerunning on broadcast channels. They went straight to DVD to sell. My money was way down from broadcast or cable there. So again, I'm doing the same work and my money is even less. Now we have all these new formats, you know, load them on your cell phone, load them on your computer. They want to pay us the same amount that they've been paying for DVDs or less. So again, I'll be doing the same work I was doing 23 years ago on Remington Steele. I won't even be making the same money as I made back then. I'll be making less money because in the reruns, the formulas come way down from what it was when they were rebroadcast on broadcast television. So it's not that the writers are looking for more money than they had. We're really just would like, it amounts to having the same money we had before. We've been taking cuts all through the years. Now in the future, all television will be coming across the internet.
I'm an actor. I'm out here in support, total support for the WGA. Well, I can only tell you what I've read in the trade publications and the meetings I've gone to and the word of mouth on the picket lines. I personally, out of the 2 weeks, have missed 3 days. In the 80s, the WGA gave up gains because that's when the VHS came out. so the companies could figure out a payment schedule, and the riders are still getting the same residuals, from my understanding. That's why they asked for this little measly 4 cents extra on the DVD sales. You know, DVDs, they say cost 60 cents to produce. There's no warehousing, there's no freight involved. They sell them direct. They sell them for what, $20 to $30 a piece? Well, the riders get 4 cents, and all they asked for was an additional 4 cents that's 20 years, over 20 years past due. They even went as far to take that off the table so they could get the companies to come back to talks. The companies, as my understanding, came back, and when they took it off the tables, the additional DVD residuals, 4 cents, the companies just sneered at them, and I was told the companies walked away. But it's such an important issue here that will affect generations to come, not just now. And as I've heard, most of the riders aren't these people with all the money. You know, I've seen showrunners out here. Now I know what a showrunner is, and man, kudos to the showrunners. They are individuals that have productions in the process, and they're on the line with all their brethren of the WGA. So I'm proud to be a SAG member. It's my understanding that our contract is up in June, and if nothing, and we will be fighting for the same issues that WGA is, and that's the new media. The new media is taking off. That's why the VHS, when it went to DVD, it caught the riders, the WGA, by surprise. Who knows what the future holds? Right now it's iPods, it's telephones, it's the internet, and as one WGA rider says, you know, you started years ago with a cable going from the wall to your TV. Now it went from the wall to a box on top of your TV. You might call it TiVo, you might call it Roadrunner. It doesn't matter what you call it. He said in 5 years' time, and I think it's sooner than 5 years, you'll be calling it the internet. TV will be obsolete. And if we don't get this, what WGA is wanting, SAG will come for the same thing in June. I'm sure of it. If there's no resolutions, that the companies will come out and give the WGA fair contract, fair deal, even after they took the 4 cent residual proposition off the table. The companies refuse to talk. I'll stay here as long as I can. I'm out of work too because I have no work without riders. I hate assuming things because assumptions are of the future, and the future doesn't exist yet, but I believe that our solidarity is growing. I understand the Teamsters are in and out. The 28th of this month, there's going to be a global picket line from all the riders guilds in the world. On the 28th of November are going to be picketing at the same time as we. All the guild riders around the world are standing in support of their WGA brethren. So, you know, we're gaining public sympathy. They are starting to see. Here you got the companies telling their shareholders that the profits are within the multiple millions, but they're turning around and telling the WGA there's nothing to give you. And only one was 4 cents and some foundation for the new media. The new media is the future. All the other studio crafts, the grips, it's not just the riders that this affects. We're talking about catering companies, makeup, hair, every aspect of a crew. On a television shoot, a film shoot, a commercial shoot, they're all affected because without writers, there's no words. Without no words, there's no actors. Without actors, there's no grips, so on and so forth. And you got to realize these residuals and this new media is so important because it affects your health and pension. A majority of your health and pension comes from residuals. This is what I got from a picket line that they had a breakdown of the millions, literally millions of dollars that go into the WGA's health and pension.